Is it possible to protect New York City from communism, from danger, from violence, from Mamdani? Well, my friend, founder of the Guardian Angels and Republican New York City mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa is sure going to try.
I start with 28%. I am the only Republican candidate. I represent the values of the Republican Party, which is that illegal aliens should not vote. And when it comes to law and order issues, I don't coddle criminals.
So what's your message beyond a law and order message about affordability? What can you say to those people out there? Is it possible to protect New York City from communism, from danger, from violence, from Mamdani? Well, my friend, founder of the Guardian Angels and Republican New York City mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa is sure going to try. Curtis, it's great to talk to you. You know I'm a big fan of yours, and I got to hear it from you. How's the race going? What are you seeing that's going to give us a little bit of hope?
Sure. I'm moving up in the polls. I've actually raised more money in the last two fundraising quarters than Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams combined through matching funds, with an average donation of $100 from people who live in New York City. I have no billionaires or millionaires bankrolling me like Zohran Mamdani, like Eric Adams, and like Andrew Cuomo. So I have my pathway. I start with 28%. I am the only Republican candidate. I represent the values of the Republican Party, which is that illegal aliens should not vote. The three Democrats, Zohran, Cuomo, and Adams, believe they should. I also do not believe in sanctuary cities. The three of these Democrats do. And when it comes to law and order issues, I don't coddle criminals. I'm not into no cash bail, as Andrew Cuomo is. And I'm certainly not into putting social workers in the street like Zohran Mamdani. I believe we need 7,000 cops to get New York City back where it's safe and secure again, like it was in the days of Rudy Giuliani.
Curtis, everything you're saying is music to my ears. And I'll tell you this, if I lived in New York City, you know who I would vote for. It'd obviously be you. And I tell all my friends, hey, you better vote for Curtis because he's actually going to keep your city safe. But I'm also a conservative Republican, and I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So, you know, they've been saying it to you. Why run as a Republican? You know a Republican can't win in New York City. I know you've been asked this question a million times, but for my audience that says, we love Curtis, but there's just no shot, what do you tell those people?
Well, my favorables in the polls are higher than anyone else, including Zohran Mamdani. The unfavorables for Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams are staggering. Upwards of 60 to 70% of the voters have said they would never vote for Eric Adams, and less so for Cuomo, but these are high negatives. It's almost like I'm in the category of that TV program, Everybody Loves Raymond. Everybody loves Curtis for everything that I've done for the city of New York for 46 years as leader of the Guardian Angels. But they say a Republican can't win. Well, they said that about Rudy Giuliani. And in 1992, he became the mayor and saved New York City. And right after that, a man that nobody knew, George Pataki, you couldn't have picked him out of a police lineup, beat Mario Cuomo, who was on his way, he thought, to becoming the first Italian-American president of the United States. And as a result, we had 8 years, no crime, no chaos, no corruption with Rudy Giuliani, and 12 years with George Pataki, no crime, no chaos, no corruption, followed by Michael Bloomberg and Raymond Kelly for 12 years, no crime, no chaos, no corruption. The moment we went back to the Democrats, first with Bill de Blasio, then Cuomo as governor, then Eric Adams as mayor, more crime, more chaos, more corruption. So I think it's time you elect me mayor as the Republican candidate, and then next year, Elise Stefanik, the Republican congresswoman from upstate New York. And it's like the 1-2 punch all over again. You had Giuliani, Pataki. You'll have Sliwa, Elise Stefanik, who is supporting me. And we will get New York State back on track, and we'll get New York City back on track. And we'll work in partnership once again to make this the Empire State. Because right now, people are fleeing by the droves. They're taking their wealth and equity with them. And obviously, Zohran Mamdani would be nothing more than a Bill de Blasio on steroids. We certainly don't want that.
No, definitely not. As someone who just travels to New York City pretty much on a weekly basis, I can tell you, I would not be comforted to know that that man was the mayor. I have a lot of issues with that, and I am behind you 1,000,000%. And I think you'd make a fantastic mayor. And I love what you said about Governor Stefanik as well. I mean, that would be amazing. I hope that it's possible, and I love your optimism that it is. One of the reasons, though, that Mondani is so popular, maybe on TikTok, maybe in real life, I don't know, is that he talked about affordability, 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 and he promised a lot of stuff that he actually cannot deliver on. He wants to make everything free. Well, we'll just run all the grocery stores and everything will be wonderful. And to people who don't know how the economy works, they bought into that. But there are people that are very concerned about affordability in New York City. It's not a cheap place to live. If you want to live somewhere in the city that's relatively safe, you probably have to have a few roommates, if not more, because you just can't afford it. So what's your message beyond a law and order message about affordability? What can you say to those people out there that love everything you stand for on the law and order side, but they're like, can Curtis make it affordable for us?
Well, you're absolutely right. My own wife is a millennial. She's an attorney. She believed in what she was being told, that in fact, the American dream was you get a 4-year college education and then you get a graduate degree. And then maybe you're a financial analyst or a licensed CPA, or you're participating in a field like law or medicine, and you're making good money at first, but then you realize you're getting crushed by these student loans at the beginning of the month. Then you barely have enough money left over for rent. And like you said, you're 35 years old and you're still living in a dormitory like you were when you were in college. And now you're angry, you're frustrated that you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car, you can't live the American dream that you were promised. So here comes Zoran Mandami, and he's claiming everything is for free. And partially, Tammy, he's not wrong. He says he wants to give free bus fare. Well, guess what? Half the people don't pay their bus fare anyway because there's no enforcement. When I'm mayor, you're either going to pay your bus fare, you're going to get a ticket, or you're going to get locked up. There has to be consequences and accountability for what you do, or we lose complete control of the city and we crawl right into the belly of the beast. It's total anarchy. We have 100,000 apartments in New York City that have been mothballed because oftentimes tenants, because of COVID and the lockdown in 2020, were told by then Governor Cuomo, you don't have to pay your rent. And believe it or not, many of them have not paid their rent since. That's 5 years ago. Many of them are squatters and deadbeats. And because tenant-landlord court does not give a landlord any equality at all in being able to determine if somebody should be evicted or not, I've got to straighten out tenant-landlord court. I've got to make sure it's fair towards the landlords, especially the small landlords. And that will open up about 100,000 apartments that right now are mothballed. We have 6,000 apartments in NYC public housing that the mayor has mothballed. Now, why would public housing have 6,000 apartments that are not available for poor and indigent people? So there is plenty of housing. It's just that landlords are afraid of putting it on the open marketplace because a tenant-landlord court will keep a squatter there, will keep somebody there who doesn't want to pay their rent 3, 4, 5 years. And that's unfair to the landlords who might just as soon sell their property, pack their bags, and head down to Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Tennessee, or parts unknown. They want out of here. I want to improve, and I want to get people not to move. And that's one of the ways of doing it. And that will create more instantaneous affordable housing.
Yeah, I've actually heard from Democrats in New York City that are very Democrat, but they are very sick of the squatters. That's one thing they'll tell me if they're being honest. And also, they're tired of the illegal aliens. That's another part of your housing problem there. You can't bring in millions of people across an open southern border and then, you're either going to house them in a hotel. Well, then when they finally kick them out of the hotel, they got to have somewhere to go. And unfortunately, a lot of those people are favored over Americans and New Yorkers that need housing. So I'm right there with you on that. There's ways to tackle it. And, simply saying that everything's going to be free and we're going to have a city full of basically Section 8, that's not the solution. A lot of people, though, are attracted to that, which is very, very unfortunate. I also want to talk to you about the illegal alien issue. It seemed like there for a while, Mayor Adams realized it was a problem. He was working a little bit with Tom Homan, got a lot of flack for that. But there's still a lot of New Yorkers that even if they're honest with themselves, they're sick of the illegal aliens, right? But when they're voting, they're not voting to get them out, or they're not voting or polling that they want to get them out. So with you with a tough anti-sanctuary city policy perspective, how can you win those people that for some reason are still in love with the idea of the illegals?
Well, I trust the people. I don't trust the politicians. I'll tell you this much. I've advocated that we have an initiative and referendum, put it up for a vote. And just like the city of Chicago was going to do it, the city council decided to yank that because they recognized that the predominant number of voters, African Americans there, would vote down Sanctuary City because their African American mayor that they elected, the socialist Johnson, because of the color of his skin, completely stabbed their community in the back. Likewise, we would have the African American community here that would vote down a continuation of support for illegal aliens. But I say put it up for a vote, initiative and referendum. The other politicians are afraid to do that. The other thing, to give you an idea, we recently had a budget in New York City that's higher than the budget of the entire state of Florida combined, $118 billion. They added $55 million more dollars for illegal aliens and gave only $4 million to veterans. I would be the mayor to say, that's it. No more money for illegal aliens. And to the veterans, whatever money we can give them to help them in their time of need for the service that they provided to our country, we're going to do it. We have veterans now who are sleeping in the parks, sleeping in the subways, walking the streets because they are homeless, they are destitute, they have mental illness, they have alcohol issues. We're going to take care of them first and foremost. I'm going to be a caring, concerned mayor who's also very tough. You're going to have to face consequences if you break the law. But we're going to take care of Americans first. This mayor, Eric Adams, and the Democrats always wanted to take care of the illegal aliens. And I'll tell you why. A lot of contracts were issued for millions of dollars, no bid contracts, which resulted in lots of kickbacks of millions and millions of dollars. All of that is going to end. And the other thing that differentiates me from Zoran Mandami or Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo, and remember, Andrew Cuomo's no cash bail Cuomo, he's the friend of the criminals, is I am the only candidate who has an independent line, first in electoral history, protect animals. That means there will be no more kill shelters. We will have no kill shelters, and we will put animal abusers in jail. I'll have an animal welfare unit in the basement of City Hall that will respond 24/7 to issues in which animals are under duress, because I think most Americans out there, whether they voted for Trump or Harris or they're independent, understand that animals are not only our friends, they are our family members. And we're going to treat them not like property, but we're going to give them the respect that they deserve, that they not be beaten, abused, and tortured and whipped, and then put into a shelter. And instead of being adopted or forced it out to people who would love to have an animal friend in their home, we end up killing them and euthanizing them. Look, LA has stopped that practice. So has Austin. When I'm mayor in New York City, we will no longer be killing animals in the animal shelter. And that resonates, especially with a lot of women who on that issue sometimes are one-issue voters. They'll tell you, I will never vote for a Republican, but anybody who loves animals and wants to save animals and prevent them from being killed in the shelters, they'll get my vote. And with that wave of moderate Democrats and the growing number of independents who are the millennials and Gen Zers, they have not aligned themselves with AOC or Zoran Mandami. I have the coalition to make me the next mayor of the city of New York and straighten out New York City and get it back on track, to pave the way for Elise Stefanik to become the governor next year. And then we'll have Republican leadership, and we can sort of join other states that have common sense governments that go out of their way to protect American people and not strangers or foreigners.
Well, you had me with the animal welfare, not only the no-kill shelters, but to your point about locking up the animal abusers. That's a big one for me. And I love that you mentioned that, because I would not have known that was part of your platform. So I'm so happy, and I want to amplify that, because you're right. There's a lot of people that's very close to their heart, and I'm one of those people. What are you going to do about the city council? Because, you know, Eric Adams, he's been able to hide behind, well, the city council won't let me. The city council won't let me. I want to do these things. City council won't let let me. We know that if Mamdani gets elected, that'll be a match made in heaven. They'll just do all the communist crap they want to do. But what do you do if you were to get elected? How do you deal with the psychos over there?
Well, you'll have a majority of the city council of 51 who definitely lean left. Some of them are socialists. Some of them are progressive Democrats. But they all need what is called discretionary funds. There are 51 of them. So you visit each one of their communities and you host a town hall meeting. People will come out, they'll give you grief. You got to sit there and take it. Then you'll have a private meeting with the city council person, and they'll sort of scream their spleen out at you. And then you just say, okay, you've had your say. I know you need certain community projects done that is going to make you look good to your community. I have the discretionary funds you need. I need your vote on this one issue. For that one issue, I'll give you the discretionary funds to get you a new playground, to get you a new school to replace the old public school. And that's how politics works. So you have to give these people an opportunity, yell, scream, play act. I call it the chicken dance. And once they get it out of their system, it gets back to good old-fashioned politics. This is what I need as the mayor. This is what I can give to you, discretionary funds, can make you look good in your district. But there has to be a benefit for the rest of the people of the city, not just for your community. And they understand that. Not all will abide by it. I'll continue to have opposition. But if they decide to go into court with a legion of lawyers who practice their martial art all day, I sue. I am going to tell the 1,000 lawyers of the Corporation Council that the taxpayers pay a lot of money for. You're going into court and you're battling each and every case. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some. But the people of New York City are going to know the mayor is trying to protect them from getting their pockets picked by these lawyers who get 1/3 of everything they sue the city of New York for. And then afterwards, when the city corporation lawyers hit the stamp that says settle, settle, they go out and they have steaks and they have all kinds of additional food supplements at taxpayers' expense, and then they wash it down with a few martinis. No more peace and tranquility. We go to court, we fight for the taxpayers so that they're not constantly giving over money to these special interest groups. I call it the nonprofit industrial complex. All they want to do is take, and they don't want to give. And they're going to have a mayor in City Hall who's run a nonprofit myself for 46 years, who understands the intricacies of doing that, who's going to say, no, on this issue we fight. We take it to court, and again, I'm here to protect the taxpayers.
Well, everything you're saying is obviously resonating with me, and I hope that people can get beyond their hatred of Republicans or their perceived hatred of Republicans and understand that it would be an amazing, wonderful thing to be able to walk down the street and feel safe again, to be able to go and enjoy the parks and enjoy being with your family and not have to worry, to be a young woman who can ride the subway and not worry about being burned alive. My God, I mean, I think that it would change the quality of life so dramatically that you could never put that genie back in that bottle. People would realize that decline is not inevitable and that the greatest city in the world can in fact actually be a safe city again. A lot of these young people, they weren't around. I mean, I was born in 1992, and a lot of my friends were bored, don't even realize that New York was once a safe place. So it can happen. The last thing I have to ask you about, because I know you're in our Fox News building a lot and you talk with a lot of my friends and colleagues, and I know they tell you, Curtis, you got to get rid of the beret. You got to get rid of it because, for some reason that's like your thing, but you got to get rid of it, Curtis. What do you say to them, and will you ever get rid of it?
Oh, no, I have taken it off on many occasions. In fact, when I'm in the corporate boardrooms, it seems that the Fortune 500 executives and those who are responsible for the business of the city and the country, they prefer this kind of a corporate look. I don't have a problem with that at all. I was born without a beret. I'll die without a beret, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But what people have to understand, what this beret signifies, is that in 46 years of service to New York City voluntarily and 13 countries around the world and 130 cities, 6 guardian angels have died in the line of duty. 3 dozen have been seriously injured. I honor their service. And when I'm in the streets and subways, and I'm the only candidate in the streets and subways, when there are the poor and impoverished, the homeless, the emotionally disturbed, people in need, especially women who are getting perved on constantly and sexually harassed, they see the Red Beret as a beacon of hope. They run to the Red Beret. When they happen to see that it's me, they know that I'm going to help and other guardian angels are going to help. So fear not this Red Beret. And by the way, if you really want me never to wear the Red Beret again, elect me mayor, and I make this solemn oath, cross my heart and hope to die, I will never wear the Red Beret again. So those out there who would prefer that I not wear the Red Beret, there's a simple way of accomplishing that. Elect me mayor, and I promise I'll never wear the Red Beret again.
Well, Curtis, I love the Red Beret, and I think it's you, and I think you're right. It is a beacon of hope and safety for a lot of people that see you and they know that they're going to be safe in your presence. And I hope that the city of New York is smart enough to go your way. I shudder to think of the alternative, but I'm behind you 1,000,000%. I think you've got real solutions. I hope people are smart enough to take you up on your offer. Thank you so much. I'm praying for you. I mean, my goodness, you become the mayor of New York. Maybe I'll move to New York. I don't know. I think it'd be a great place to live. Thank you. Best of luck, and I'll be following your race all the way.
Well, if people want to know more, they just go to Sliwa for NYC.com. That's Sliwa, F-O-R, NYC.com. And you can see all the positions I stand for. I am the only Republican. The other three, Zorhan, Cuomo, Adams. You may have Zorhan, who's the extremist, but Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo are Zorhan light. They're all Democrats. Vote for me, the Republican.
I love it, Curtis. Best of luck to you, cheering you on from the state of Tennessee. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Curtis. All right, folks, that does it for this special episode of Tomi Lahren Is Fearless. Boy, wouldn't it be amazing if New York City could be a safe place to be again? I think it's possible. You know, it's a long shot, but we believe in the underdog, and we're rooting for Curtis, certainly. Make sure you catch full episodes of this show on Outkick and Fox Nation. Also, check out the YouTube channel at Tomi Lahren Is Fearless for all the full episodes and clips. From Nashville, God bless and take care. Hey, thanks for watching. For more of my hottest takes, must-see conversations, and of course, my final thoughts, click right here. And don't forget to subscribe. Just click right here so you never miss a beat. I will be here every weekday, and I hope you'll join me.